Ndị be anyị ndewonu. Ọ bụ Ada Igbo na-ekwu na Igbo Media. N'Igbo Media, anyị na-ewetara unu ọtụtụ ozi gbasara ihe na-emegasị na Biafra Land, n'ala Igbo na mba ndị ọzọ. N'ụbọchị nke taata, o nwere ihe bịara n'iru akwụkwọ anyị nke anyị ga-agụpụtara unu n'ụbọchị taa. Anyị gụpụtachaa ya, unu egee ya ka ọha n'uju. Ị ga-esie ya, ị drọpụọla your comment, like kwa this our video and gbasakwa ya ka o ruo ụmụnna anyị n'ebe dị iche iche arụ. Ozi anyị wetara unu tata si n'aka otu nwanne anyị nwoke, a Biafra activist. Dịka o si wetara anyị ozi a n'iru akwụkwọ, ọ dere sị: Maazị Nnamdi Kanu's release gained momentum as international body take a bold step as ex-Lagos lawmaker make a shocking move to UN, UK, AU demand unconditional release of Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Ya bụ ozi ka anyị ji bịa tata na Igbo Media. Ị ga-esi anya bụ ozi, gbaa mbọ gwa anyị chere ma mekwa ka ozi alụtụ ụmụnna anyị n'ebe dị iche iche aka. Ngwa gere ya ka ọha n'uju.
EU, 18 others, seeks urgent intervention for release from unlawful detention. In a petition dated August 22, 2025, and signed by himself from the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, in Abuja, Kanu described himself as a prisoner of conscience and accused the Nigerian judiciary of enabling his prolonged unlawful detention through what he called unconstitutional and politically motivated rulings. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has petitioned several foreign missions and international organizations in Nigeria, appealing for urgent intervention to secure his release and to compel the Nigerian government to end his trial and uphold the rule of law. In a petition dated August 22, 2025, and signed by himself from the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, in Abuja, Kanu described himself as a prisoner of conscience and accused the Nigerian judiciary of enabling his prolonged, unlawful detention through what he called unconstitutional and politically motivated rulings. The IPOB leader addressed the petition to the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, France, the European Union, the Netherlands, Sweden, Amnesty International, the Red Cross, the African Union, ECOWAS Court, Kenya, South Africa, Norway, Denmark, Japan, Brazil, Israel, Finland, and Austria. Kanu, a dual Nigerian-British citizen, said his continued detention since June 2021 violates both domestic and international legal standards. He urged the international community to pressure Nigeria to respect constitutional supremacy, judicial precedents, and international human rights treaties. The Supreme Court's lawlessness, compounded by the Court of Appeal's illegal stay of execution, undermines the rule of law, and I seek your assistance to restore justice, Kanu stated. Kanu recalled that on October 13, 2022, the Court of Appeal discharged and acquitted him, ruling that his 2021 extraordinary rendition from Kenya had violated Nigeria's Extradition Act and his constitutional right to a fair trial. On October 28, 2022, the Nigerian government obtained a stay of execution of the ruling, a decision Kanu described as alien to criminal jurisprudence, citing previous Nigerian judgments, Ejiofor v. FRN, Abacha v. State, which held that liberty cannot be suspended after acquittal. He noted that from October 2022 to December 2023, he remained in detention without fresh charges for 14 months, a situation he said breached the Nigerian Constitution, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. On December 15, 2023, the Supreme Court overturned the acquittal and remitted the case for retrial, even while acknowledging the illegality of his rendition. Kanu argued that the ruling violated the principle of double jeopardy and exceeded the court's jurisdiction. The Supreme Court assumed jurisdiction it did not have, undermining constitutional supremacy, he said. Kanu accused both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal of undermining constitutional supremacy and engaging in political activism in his case. He described Justice Haruna Simon Samani's decision to grant a stay of execution as a barbaric assault on the rule of law. He also referenced reports by the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which he said documented systemic judicial bias against IPOB members. The IPOB leader said, "This decision is a barbaric and illegal act wholly unknown to criminal law jurisprudence anywhere in the world. It constitutes constitutional criminality of the highest order, exhibiting a shocking lack of fidelity to the Nigerian constitution. Nigerian jurisprudence unequivocally prohibits stays of execution in criminal matters, particularly where liberty is at stake. Kanu urged the United Kingdom to intervene, arguing that his detention breaches the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, and the UK's obligations to protect its citizens. He further called for Magnitsky-style sanctions against Nigerian officials complicit in judicial lawlessness. Kanu, in the petition, asked the foreign missions to demand that Nigeria comply with Abacha v. State and Ejioforen by enforcing the Court of Appeals discharge retroactively to October 13, 2022, nullifying my arbitrary detention, declaring the October 28, 2022 stay illegal, and securing my immediate release. Condemn judicial lawlessness by declaring the Supreme Court's reversal and the Court of Appeals stay violations of stare decisis, constitutional supremacy, and ICCPR ECHR protections, he said. Hold the UK accountable by invoking R. Evans to compel emergency diplomatic action, including Magnitsky sanctions against complicit Nigerian officials. Escalate his case internationally by supporting referral to the ECOWAS Court, African Court, or ICC if Nigeria refuses compliance. The IPOB leader stressed the Supreme Court's December 15, 2023 reversal, compounded by the Court of Appeals' illegal stay of execution on October 28, 2022, represents a systemic collapse of the rule of law in Nigeria. My 14-month arbitrary detention, enabled by UK inaction, exposes discriminatory neglect and judicial lawlessness. Your urgent intervention is critical to halt my persecution, uphold constitutional governance, and prevent my possible death in custody. Kanu was first arrested in 2015 on charges of treasonable felony and granted bail in 2017. He fled Nigeria after a military raid on his residence, but was forcibly returned from Kenya in June 2021 under disputed circumstances. His trial has since been marked by legal controversies.
Ngwano, dalo ninye no umunnem dikun sinesera ni bo media. Gini kunu wali ikwu na nkawa nke unu. Gbasta maka ihe nọ n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Gwa ya ife iche n'ụdị nke gị. Deela ya n'akara kọmentị ka mara ihe i chere. Ma chetakwa tụsa ya bụ ozi ka o were ụmụnne anyị ndị ọzọ ntị. Ndewo na ụmụnne m ka emesịa nụ.